Well, hey guys, it's Destry. Welcome back to my greenhouse today. Today I'm going to be doing some uppotting of some of my seedlings that I sowed in January. I am going to be planting ranunculus corms for some beautiful early spring flowers for the flower stand, and I think probably some other things. So it is the weekend. I have a little bit of time here in the greenhouse to get some stuff done. So I'm just going to take you along for the ride and show you my tips and tricks for uppotting and for getting my ranunculus started today. So when I was inside, I filmed my kind of status of what my seedlings are looking like right now. I've got a lot of things I need to uppot, and then I did soak my ranunculus corms. I did put them in a cold stratification. I put them in the fridge for a while, and I soaked them this morning, so it's time to get those in some dirt too. I will pop a picture here on the screen of what ranunculus look like. They are an early season bloomer, so my plan for these is to get them pre-sprouted and then actually move them out into my raised garden beds pretty early this spring. And I'm actually going to be covering them with some little mini greenhouses. I've ordered 3 different kinds off Amazon, and I'm going to be showing you those in a different video where when I actually get them in the ground, I'm going to be covering them just to sort of protect them and make them into sort of like a little mini greenhouse in my garden so that I can get them out early, but they're also protected from the elements. So even though ranunculus are an early season bloomer, you can't let them freeze. So you have to be a little bit careful. So I was trying to brainstorm how I could, get them out in the ground, but also make sure they're protected. And so I did go on Amazon and I purchased 3 different kinds of little mini kind of enclosements that I can basically just pop on top of my raised garden beds, and that will protect them. And so I'll be taking you on a tour of those in a different video, so I will link that here once I get that one filmed. But that is my plan for pre-sprouting and growing on early my ranunculus bulbs this year, or corms. So if you've never grown ranunculus before, they're really fun to grow. I order my corms off Amazon. I'm sure you can pick them up at the garden center or other places, and they're super cute. They look like these little squids. So again, I'll show you in the recording that I did just a few minutes ago. And now I'm in the greenhouse, and I'm gonna go ahead and get them into some potting soil. All right, friends. Well, I am starting a fun project today. I'll be taking you through this process, but it's going to take a little time. I'm going to be planting some ranunculus bulbs, and actually they're called corms. And so I wanted to open these up and show you what I got. Now, I just got these from Amazon, and I tried 3 different, what I thought was 3 different suppliers, but then when I opened them up, I realized that these 2 came from the same supplier. So I will try to try to link those down below for you. And then this one came from a different supplier. Now I was reading through the instructions, and it did say that these need to be cold stratified. So they need to have some moment of cold before I soak the corms and go ahead and plant them up. I'm going to be planting them up now here in January in my greenhouse with the thought that in the early spring I can put them outside. So I'm going to go ahead and just open these up and get them into the bowl and put them in the refrigerator for about a week. I was hoping they were already cold stratified, which I don't know that they are, and I should have done this process a little sooner. So I'm going to give them a week in the fridge, and then I'm going to be soaking the corms and planting them up. So this is definitely step 1 of the project today. Well, I went ahead and opened the bag. So I have a bag of 20 here. I'm just going to dump these out and kind of show you what they look like. They kind of look like little octopus or squids or something like that. But each one of these corms will be a plant that will produce multiple stems, multiple flowers. You can see this bag, I think, well, I was going to say, I think they're a little bigger, but I think they're actually probably about the same size. And then this batch I noticed is a little bit smaller, but I'm just going to go ahead and dump them all in. So I have 2 bags of 20 and 1 bag of 25 of these smaller ones. So I'm going to have hopefully a really good crop of these ranunculus. So I'm going to go ahead and pop these in the fridge, and then after about a week, I'm going to pull them out. I'm going to soak the corms and then plant them up in my greenhouse. You could also fall sow these if you live in a place where you don't get like a lot of, you know, freezing temperatures or snow. But if these do freeze, they will die. So I'm not sure that we're not going to get snow this year. So I'm going to be sowing them in my greenhouse, but you can also fall sow them in warmer climates. All right, so I thought I would give you a quick update on some of my seedlings I've got going on here. I am on my second round, going to be starting my third round of seedlings, and everything is looking really good. I've got some white gomphrena here that's sprouted. This is my lisianthus, which are growing and looking great. This is one I'm going to be potting up today. This is a Russian cress, and you can see they're starting to get a little leggy. And so I'm going to be potting those up, as well as the blue purum. I think these are ready for potting up. I think I might try to pot up this Crispedia. I think it's ready. The black-eyed Susans, I think I might separate and pot up just to make a little bit more room because I had less germination. And this is my other lisianthus, which is not ready for potting up. They're just so tiny. But I did have a couple more that sprouted. So you can kind of see, if you can kind of see that. But anyway, this one, so the black-eyed Susans, you can see I have some, and I have some I could even separate, but I have a lot of cells that didn't do anything. So I could make more room, I guess is what I'm saying. And then this one here, these are snapdragons. This one is an apricot. They did really well. These are an apple blossom snapdragon, looking great. I'm not going to worry about potting those yet. The Orlea back here didn't do so great. I only have, I can see probably 3 sprouts there, but the sweet peas are doing good. They're also getting a little leggy, but that's just kind of what they do. They're reaching for the light here. And then I've got some more snapdragons back there in ivory. So they're looking good. And then this is another tray I'm going to be potting up today, I think, is these asters. I think these are ready to be separated and up potted. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay then. And then, oh, sorry, Milo. Oh my goodness. Dogs and kids. Oh my. Anyway, these are my fuchsias down here, and I just went ahead and pinched these back. And in fact, I'm going to pinch this one too. Fuchsias are one that I propagated these first of all, and I think pinching them is really going to help them to kind of do what this one's doing, which is to develop, 2 branches essentially and get more bushy. So I just went through and pinched all these fuchsias, and I up potted them about a week ago, and they're looking really, really good. And then these are the geraniums that I just propagated. Everybody's looking good. So far, so good. Over here are 2 little trays that didn't do much. You can see I have 2 yarrows that developed. And then this was a tray that I pretty much gave up on. These were carnations, and it's kind of funny because these were from Floret, and they did nothing last year and they did nothing this year. So either I don't know how to grow carnations or the seeds weren't good. I don't know, you guys, but and then this yarrow, I've only got 2 little ones. So these are 2 that I'm going to be, I'm going to up pot these 2, but then I'm just going to get rid of that, get rid of those trays and just, again, make room for more. Here's my ranunculus corms, and I have soaked these now for about 3 hours this morning, and I changed the water about every half hour. Now these were in my fridge for about 3 weeks. I did cold stratify them just in case. I got them on Amazon, and now they've been soaked. And so I wish I should have taken some footage before I soaked them, because now they have plumped up quite a bit. But these are going to be beautiful, gorgeous flowers. Right now they remind me of like little squids or something. So when you plant them, you're going to plant them with these little legs kind of pointing downward, and then this is the eye of the plant where the plant will grow. So my other plan is to get these all planted today. Now you want to soak the corms. Like I said, I did 3 hours. I would say no more than 4 hours, and you want to change the water frequently so that the water continues to have oxygen flow. And so I already did that process and drained these. So now I'm ready to get these in some potting mix today. So that's the other thing I'm going to be working on in the greenhouse this afternoon. I have kind of learned as I'm doing this like up potting in mass, or like doing these ranunculus corms in mass, is to get prepared. So I've gone ahead and got all my trays, all my you know, 4-inch pots ready to go. Now I store these outside. They're just nursery pots that I'm reusing. And one thing to be careful of are egg sacs of spiders. So I did find, I've cleaned them all out now, but in here in the bottom, some egg sacs of spiders. And I even found a live spider. And so, you know, if you're bringing this into your warm house, like, I don't want to bring spiders inside. So I went ahead and got rid of all the little egg sacs that I saw because I do store these outside. Other than that, I don't do much for cleaning these out, I'll be honest. And then some of the trays I have reused, you know, picked up at nurseries and reusing. And then a few of them I did purchase this year. But you can see I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trays. All the little pots are in there. They're ready to roll. And so that'll go a lot faster for me. And then over here, sorry about the spin, I've got all my dirt ready to go. You know, with a couple geranium petals in there to boot. It's all damp from a bag. Now I'm still using the, what is it called, you guys? The gold, what is it called? Black gold potting mix. So I have this all ready to go. I have the pots all ready to go. And then over here, everything I'm up potting, I've got my labels all ready to go. So I can just hopefully make quick work of this. So the corms, I'm just going to be putting them in 1 in each of these little 4 inchers, or maybe 2. I might do 2 in each just to kind of save room. And then I'm just going to leave those ones in the greenhouse and kind of pre-sprout them. And hopefully, you know, make sure they're viable, let them grow on a little bit, and then I'm going to be transferring them outside pretty early this spring. But all of these little babies, all the little actual seedlings, I'm going to be bringing back inside and putting under the grow lights. All right, so next up, I'm going to go ahead and get started on my ranunculus corms. So I've got them all here, and I think my plan here is to put 2 in each 4-inch pot. That's probably too much, but again, I'm just considering room here. And I definitely have seen people where they just take a whole tray of soil and they just, you can just kind of pre-sprout them in a tray rather than individual little containers like I'm doing, but this is just what I have, so I'm just gonna make it work. All right, so for these guys, I'm going to make 2 little holes, and I'm going to bury the corms probably about 1 inch deep or so. So there we go. And I'm just gonna maneuver that soil up over the top. And these ones I am going to leave in the greenhouse. Now the greenhouse is, you know, on average, about 50 or 60 degrees. It's at least around 50. And so, again, I think that these will do fine germinating in a little bit cooler of a spot. So for these guys, I'm not gonna put them, you know, indoors and under the grow lights. I'm gonna leave them out in the greenhouse, and I might regret that decision, and I might change that decision. So I will get back to you and let you know, but that's my current plan. And I'm just gonna do 2 corms per little pot here. Oh, and I just spotted another egg sac right there. So I am not gonna use that particular pot. I'm considering this ranunculus planting that I'm doing today kind of like a pre-sprouting process, meaning that I'm not going to keep them in these little pots for very long. I'm just going to get them started, make sure that the corms are viable before I move them to a protected garden bed this spring. So I'm considering this kind of a pre-sprouting process, if you will. Now, some of these are pretty big to try to fit 2 in here, but try to mix a small one with a big one. Let's see here. Now, I've done this once before where I did ranunculus, and I'll try to find that video for you. It was a while ago. Well, I guess it was, I don't know if I did it last year or the year before, to be honest. and they did great. The only problem was the plants themselves got very, very big before they ever produced any flowers. So you kind of have to have like room, I guess, for these, or at least that was my experience, was that they got big and then like they still didn't have flowers, but they had just a ton of leaves. So I wasn't sure what I thought about them. Now I love the flowers. The ranunculus looking flowers are so gorgeous that I'm trying it again. I think they will look beautiful in arrangements, but I think that I need to plant them. I had them just in pots, and I think I definitely need to plant them in like a raised garden bed, like a bigger area, because when I was doing it in little like planters and pots, it just was not enough room. They're so interesting looking, these little guys. I mean, they're just totally alien, aren't they? Kind of shoving them down in there. I'll grab some topsoil. Yeah, I might end up doing, well, hopefully only 2 trays of these. We'll see how they do. I'll be curious to see how long it takes these to pre-sprout. I'm gonna guess it's gonna be 2 weeks. The last time I grew these, again, I was a little surprised on how long it took for them to do anything. I was kind of like, oh, I got 2 for 1 there. I was kind of like thinking I didn't do something right or that they were dead, and it took a while. Now I also did it kind of like I'm doing it this year, where I did it in the greenhouse. So I mean, it isn't as warm in here as it is in my house. I mean, it's 70 degrees in my house. It's only about maybe 60 out here. So again, part of the reason I'm doing that is because when I do plant these outdoors, even though I'm going to be covering them with a little, kind of greenhouse situation, they're going to be more acclimated to the outdoor temperatures if they're out here in the greenhouse, rather than being in my 70-degree house where, then I'd be putting them back in a super cold environment. So I think it's going to be a little closer to, nature or natural, but not exactly, because, again, I'm forcing these a little bit early. Okay, those ones are all good. So another reason to do it this way is because it's much more cost effective to buy the corms than it is to, buy these plants. If I was going to buy these plants when they come out, I mean, they're going to be probably what, $5 or $6 each. Whereas I was able to get all of these corms for, I think, probably 15, 20 bucks. And we'll see here at the end, about how many plants I will get out of that. But I mean, it's so much cheaper, right, to do it this way. Is it more work? Did I have to buy the soil? Do I have to have the containers to make this happen? Yes. But again, if I was going to the nursery, they've done all the work of growing it on. So it's not like I'm balking at like paying that amount of price. But that's a nice big one. Also, I'm saving myself some money. I feel like this is more economical for me to do this than it is to, buy these at the store when they're already grown on and in bloom. You're going to pay for that time. I'm going to cheat and put a few more in some of these. You're going to pay for that time, some of the tiny ones maybe. And, buying the corms was a lot cheaper than doing that. So I still feel like I still feel like it's worth it. I feel like I'm going to save some money. I'm going to get a lot of plants and hopefully a lot of beautiful blooms. Make that work. But like any of these ones here, like none of that's viable. None of those that's just like a root. Okay. That doesn't have the eye in order to make that happen. So that's just garbage at this point, but I was able to get just a couple more here. All right, well, here's what I have so far. So I've got 2.5 trays of ranunculus. So that's ranunculus, and about half, minus 4 there. That's all ranunculus. And then I have the cress. That one is about half, and then that one over there. So I still have some room in this tray that I'm going to fill up with something else, another seedling that I'll be bringing inside, because these 3 trays are going to stay out here in the greenhouse. So next up, I'm going to be doing this blue purum. And again, I'll try to drop a couple pictures on the screen just so you can kind of see like what these are going to look like when they're actually flowers. But these ones got really leggy. You can kind of go like this on your seedlings, or put a fan on them to kind of help them be more sturdy. But these ones are really leggy. They're kind of, I don't know, I think they're just ready to get out of here, to be honest. If you look at the roots down underneath, yeah. So if you look, I don't know if I can tilt this up here, but this has tons of roots down here. So it's ready, it's time. So I'm gonna go ahead and get these potted up next. And I was pretty happy with the germination on these guys, but yeah, you can see how long those roots are getting. And that's I think that's part of the reason they're getting so kind of like floppy at the top. Now again, I've never grown blue purum before. It's gonna be a filler, and I'm not sure about pinching. So I'll have to do a little research and I'll let you know if it's one that I'm gonna have to, you know, pinch or not. I'm thinking probably not, because again, it's more of a filler flower. I know for certain stalk, which I have a bunch of other seedlings that I showed you, hopefully by the time you're watching this part of the video. Stalk is one you do not want to pinch, like no, it's a no to pinch stalk, but I'm not sure about this blue purum, so I'll have to do a little bit more research on this one. So I've got one more thing to pot today, and that is this beautiful tray. Now these ones I would say are not very Lego, they look great, and these are an aster. And these are one of the first ones I started way back in the beginning of January. So these ones have been around here for a while in their little tray. So it's definitely time, but I would say they were a little bit slower to grow than some of these others. Some of the other ones I potted up today, I only planted about 2 weeks ago. But these ones were one of the first set that I planted. But look how gorgeous they are. Oh, they're so great. So I'm gonna go ahead, I need to get another tray prepared, and then I'm gonna tackle this tray next. All right, so this is my last tray for today. So that is a good feeling, but holy moly. Now I'm gonna look at my seed starting calendar and see what, egg sac, bad news. I'm gonna see what I'm sowing for this week. Here it's well, it's going into the 2nd week of February, so I still am very early to be, you know, doing seed starting. I would say most of my seed starting is going to happen in March. So yeah, but I definitely have some things. I know I have some things to start this month, but again, I like have to be mean to myself. I don't allow myself to start more until I pot, until I assess what I've already got and make sure that I'm doing that first, because otherwise it's kind of all for naught, is it not? Okay, so let's get going on these little babies. I want to see what these look like here. These asters. Oh yeah, they're super cute. They're little compact little dudes. More so than some of that stuff that I've been uppotting today that was kind of, you know, stretched. So here is the aster tray. I've got one whole tray there and plus 3, just those 3 here. And then these are the leftovers of the, oh Lord Almighty, the first ones I did. Yeah, the first ones, because I had like a tray and a half. Anyway, these are the asters. Don't they look great? Oh my gosh, they're so cute. They're so cute. I'm obsessed with these. So yeah, now I gotta go inside and make room for all these beauties. Look at these beauties. These have been hanging out in my greenhouse just waiting for a project. This is hanging out in my greenhouse, being loud and wanting to, oh, I know what he's mad about. He can't get to his catnip because it's down there. And this tray's in his way. That's his catnip right there. Is that better? Can you get to your catnip now? I hope so. Goodness, I hope so. Anyway, look at these. Aren't they gorgeous? I've been deadheading them. I mean, I probably bought them too early because honestly, I can't put these out quite yet, but I've been enjoying them here in the greenhouse. Aren't they gorgeous? My seedlings are pretty gorgeous too. Yeah. My dirt that I started the day it was all the way to the top. You can see how much I've used, quite a bit. Here's all my empty trays. And yeah, productive, very productive. Feeling good about all those that I potted up. Now I got my ranunculus here. I'm gonna have to, I want to get them up pretty high so they're getting a lot of light. I've got to make sure that they are in a good place so that they can pre-sprout here in the greenhouse. And now I can go check my seed starting calendar and see if I can sow some more seeds this month, see what's on the agenda for this week. The thing I'm doing today is saying goodbye to my paper white bulbs. You can see they are donezo. And yeah, I'm done with them. So I'm just gonna simply lift this whole thing out. Kind of satisfying, isn't it? It just lifts out and put them in the yard debris because we have yard debris coming this week. But check this out. Take them all out. I don't try to overwinter or over summer these. You could plant them in the ground or whatever, but I'm just gonna ditch them. But I thought I would show you how they look. Look how tall that is. It's not crazy. Anyway, I enjoyed them. I like the smell of them, but they're done. They are doner than done. So it's time to say goodbye to these. So I went back inside and looked at my seed starting calendar, and honestly, I'm pretty far ahead as far as the seeds that I've already started. So I think the only thing I'm going to actually sow today are some dianthus. So this is a purple crown and 2 straw flower. So I have not grown straw flower from seed before. I don't know how well they do, but this does say 6 to 8 weeks. It says do not cover seeds. Light is required for germination, bottom water or mist. So these are the only ones I am going to try sowing today because honestly, I'm really running out of room. So, and I have a long season to go yet. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and start these 3 varieties today. But other than that, I'm just going to try to make room for all the up potting that I did today. All right, guys, well, that's gonna be it today for my up potting, my seed starting, and my pre-sprouting ranunculus corms. I hope that you liked checking out this video. I hope that it inspired you or maybe taught you something. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section, and be sure to check the link of this video, the description of the video, for links to more videos about seed starting or other things that might interest you. And also be sure to stay tuned because I will be giving you updates on the ranunculus and how this pre-sprouting situation is going and what they're looking like. And of course, eventually getting them into my garden beds and covering them with some early spring little greenhouses. I've got, like I said, 3 different types I'm going to be trying out. I'm going to be doing a little test drive for you to show you what the best one is. So I'll see you guys next time. Again, thanks for hanging out. I'm Destry, and I'll see you later. Bye.